I wanted to share a couple things before we burn. And I've never done this year. I've never done this, but chametz, on a basic level, is we're told no bread, right? The Jews left with matzah. There was no leaven, and they ran out quickly, and that's all they had. And so we don't have chametz for Passover. That's on a very basic level. But on the spiritual level, something that I been doing a lot of thinking about. I've been a lot of time to think lately, and the idea of chametz on a spiritual level are the things that we really don't need. On a very basic level, it's called the lechem ani, the matzahs for poor people. Why? Because it's the basic needs. And chametz are things that are inflated, things that are not needed. And this sort of idea of cleansing ourselves of chametz, Passover, is really cleansing ourselves of the things that we don't need, the things that maybe are more than we need. And I've said this in some of our other chats that, with all of us being home for so long and not being able to see each other face to face, a lot of us are thinking about things we may have taken for granted. The basic hello, shaking of a hand, seeing somebody in person. And, that's the basic, that's the matzah, that's the important stuff. And everything else that maybe was important to us a few weeks ago and is not today is the chametz. And so this year, I'm doing something I've never done before. In a moment, we're going to burn those 10 pieces of bread that I have and some other bread and chametz. But I'm also adding 10 things that I've never done, but I was thinking about was important this year. And these are things that I think in the world are chametz, need to be burned. And are not, if we can get rid of this, maybe we can get rid of the basic things. So, poverty. I'm going to be burning today. I don't know if you can see it because I have my background, but I'll say the words. Sadness. A lot of sadness in the world. War. I'd like to get rid of war. Burn that. Pain and suffering. Loneliness. Greed. I think that is the ultimate of chametz. Jealousy. Being jealous of what other people have and not appreciating what we have, and not being happy for what other people have. Illness. There's a lot of illness right now. I'd like to get rid of that. Ignorance. It's a big thing that if we can burn that today, I think we'd have an amazing Passover. And lastly, hate. For the first time in my lifetime, the world has gotten really small, and it feels like most of us are going through the exact same struggle. And I don't think there's any room for hate when we're really, truly all the same. And I want to leave you with this last message before we burn. And something I was thinking about on Passover, the reason it's called Passover is that sort of the plague, the last plague was coming to Egypt. And the Jews put the lamb's blood, which we now have a mezuzah, to indicate that God will pass over us, that we will not be affected by the plague. And this Passover, it's not only the Jewish people that are in their homes and saying, that this plague needs to pass over us. So many of us across the world, almost the entire human race, is ensuring that this plague passes over the humankind. And I was thinking, while Passover is the celebration of the Jews becoming the Jewish people, and there's a hope that of a redemption and Mashiach, maybe, just maybe, the message now, it's not just about the Jewish people, but it's about humankind. And that, God didn't create the world starting with the Jewish people. God created the world with humankind, Adam and Eve. And, this year feels like a year where we're supposed to think a little bit beyond ourselves and beyond just the Jewish people, and think about all humanity. And maybe, just maybe, if we do that, maybe this year Hashem will pass over all of us, and there'll be a redemption for the entire world. So, thank you. I wanted to share that thought with you. And we're going to take these 10 notes, and we're going to go outside. Hate, ignorance, loneliness,
illness,
pain and war, sadness, poverty, greed,
jealousy, So I just
jealousy. And then I'm going to take my chametz that I found last night.
Oh, my feather
There's a feather that I used.
that I found.
Kol chamira v'chamiya deika berashusi dechasise udala chasise. Any type of leaven that may still be in my possession, that I may or may not have seen, found, or removed, let it be nullified and shall be considered ownerless like the dust of the earth. All right, Chag Sameach, happy Passover, and I look forward to seeing you guys so soon.